As Iron Man once said, part of the journey is the end. And with the finale of Stranger Things on Netflix coming out tomorrow, today I thought it would be a great time to look at the Lego 40549 Brickheadz 157 and 156 of 11 and Demogorgon. So let's get into it. First and foremost, the box is amazing. You know, this is one of the boxes that I will definitely not be throwing away because it just is so aesthetically pleasing. It really captures the show. As you can see here, we have, the life-size depictions of the Brickheadz. That's all fine and dandy. I really like the red background. It's very ominous, kind of matches the vibe of the show. Also here as well that beneath them we see kind of like, like a bluer, darker landscape meant to be upside down. We have the Stranger Things logo. Nice word mark, 80s style. We have the Netflix logo. On the side, we have additional art featuring, again, the main title word mark, as well as some, like Lego brick, motifs over here. And then we have a depiction of 11 from season 1 wearing the blue jacket over the pink dress. And then we have the Demogorgon. And then on the other side as well, we have basically just, again, another look at, both Brickheadz, and then we have little diagrams showing their display plates on this side. Not much. Again, I kind of has like that whole like brick built kind of feeling to it, but yeah, I just overall love the box. So first here we have the 11 Brickhead. Again, it follows like the typical Lego Brickhead format where we have basically what is essentially a minifigure, but done in like the style of like a very kind of like cube, blocky, almost Picasso type, minimalist, chibi style figurine, which again I like. I mean, the Brickheadz line has always been very nice in the sense that we always get very fun and creative characters and interpretations, and for the most part they're always affordable, like this one too. I mean, this one is only $20 compared to the only other Lego Stranger Things set in existence, which is the Upside Down set. But yeah, looking at 11, so here we have again, just basically it's supposed to be her in season 1 when she is trying to assimilate, or rather fit in or blend into Hawkins society, and so they give her the pink dress. Here we have a very nice printed piece representing that dress with the pattern and the collaring at the top. We also have a lot of blues to basically represent the jacket she's wearing over that, because it takes place in Indiana and it was very cold during that time, at least in the show. We have the green and white pieces representing, I believe, her sneakers and her socks that she was wearing in that episode. I don't really recall. I haven't seen the first season in a while. And then we have obviously the hair. It's meant to represent not typical, female hair in a Brickhead. Obviously meant to be shorter to present when she recently has her, her head shaved. She's so like kind of like the shaven down look, and obviously a lot of flesh tone bricks as well to represent just her skin. My only, I guess, I mean, it's a very fine Brickhead in general. My only nitpick is that if we look over here, so we have these really cool pieces too, where we have the 1x1 to represent the Eggo waffle, which was a huge, part of season 1. I mean, she, they made it very known that she really loved Eggo waffles. My only, I guess, I wish what they would have done actually is that I think instead of a 1x1, it would have been better if they used a 2x2. And as an example, so here is a 2x2 also rounded off piece from the X-Men set with the Wolverine mech. I feel if they were to do like the same Eggo waffle printing on this piece, this 2x2, as opposed to this 1x1, it would have conveyed that a lot better. I mean, obviously it's, I think in terms of the proportion, obviously the proportion is going to be unrealistic because it's a Brickhead. They have such tiny bodies and big heads, kind of like a Funko Pop. But that being said, with the 1x1 of the waffle piece, you just don't really see it that well, and I felt that a 2x2 might have been better. Besides that, that's like literally the only nitpick. I mean, overall, just, a very nice representation of 11. So let's go ahead and look at her opponent. And now we have the Demogorgon. Obviously, Demogorgons are present in basically all seasons of Stranger Things, but more so in the first one. It was basically like the main villain of the first season. So overall, again, amazing job. Very true to the source material, as well as being an adaptation into, the Brickhead style. First and foremost, really good choice of, the color they use for this, for the body. Obviously different interpretations and different, depictions of Demogorgons view them either as like, kind of like tan or brownish, or in some cases very white and pale. But in this case, it's very kind of like washed out, almost sand tone of Lego brick is, this light brown, almost like a khaki color. I think it really conveys the skin tone of the Demogorgon very well, as we see in the show. I also like how they use this, what is like basically a standard Lego kind of like ladder piece, and they use those to represent kind of like the rib cage, because I'm not even sure how, if it's like an exoskeleton. But you watch the show, Demogorgons are very bony in nature, and so they have like a lot of like exposed ribs, and so these two ladder pieces really convey that very well. Obviously, it is a little bit taller than the 11 Brickhead, and it's obviously deliberate because in the show, the real Demogorgons are like anywhere between 7 and 9 feet tall, so obviously it would make sense to have a taller Brickhead versus a Demogorgon. And then here, obviously, the main feature, oh, that just fell, is of course the, I don't even know what to call it. It's like a mouth or a snout, but basically you have like, in the show, how the Demogorgon attacks its prey is that it basically has a mouth that it then opens and flaps, kind of like a Venus flytrap. And on those flytraps, we have all kinds of, teeth that it uses to basically attack or puncture whatever it is it's devouring. That being said, again, no stickers. Very nice because, as any Lego builder will tell you, trying to apply the stickers can be very challenging. And in reality, you only get one shot. Otherwise, when you peel it off, it's going to rip one show. But yeah, I appreciate the, the printing. They did a really good job conveying the layers upon layers of teeth on the lips and in the mouth. Also here we have, again, nice use of the very reddish brown, the dark red pieces represent, the gory inside, and obviously we have the, the standard Lego tooth pieces being used to show that, it's basically, a mouth with layers upon layers of teeth leading into fangs or tusks, what have you, at the very center. Again, very nice representation of the Demogorgon. A bit gory, if you ask me, which, I mean, obviously I don't mind the gore, but I feel for Lego, they can get pretty weird about, like what's allowed and what's not, depending on, how violent the source material can be. Obviously, Lego has a no military rule, and they typically shy away from shows that have very, violent or suggestive stuff. I mean, obviously, they break their own rules all the time, considering how many sets they produce with Star Wars, which can also get pretty gritty at times. But it just is surprising that they would go ahead and not only do a set based off a Netflix show, but, do a set that actually features something that's relatively gruesome. But overall, I just really like this depiction, and, now we'll go ahead and compare the two. Side note too, I like how we have these two hinge pieces side by side to present kind of like the phalanges and claws that the Demogorgons have. Again, I mean, for a $20, set that is essentially meant to be a display set, I think it works out just fine. You can have both of them just as is under little display stands, put on the shelf, put on your desk, what have you. Very nice conversation pieces if you want. I mean, they're not really meant for play, but I guess if you had like, if you were like to say, put them against each other, you could have them maybe kind of like recreate parts of the first season where it's like, oh, they're squaring off, and maybe just have them, maybe knock off the Demogorgon representing Elle's telekinetic powers. But, overall, I think it's, again, just, it's a very simple, direct, yet pretty, interesting way to, bring about these characters. Overall recommendation, I think this is basically a perfect set. I feel that if you like Stranger Things and you love Lego, this set is absolutely a must. It's only $20, and considering that we only have really just the two sets based off Stranger Things, we have this one, and then we have the upside down set item. And especially now the show literally airing its final parts tomorrow, again, I think we're going to see, essentially the, the peak or the pinnacle of the Stranger Things hype and interest, and then it's going to crescendo. And then, okay, that will do it. Have a great Thursday. Hope everyone enjoys the finale tomorrow, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.